Welcome aboard, passengers. Mega Sim here. How are you doing? I hope you are well. We are on the Southeastern High Speed, that's correct, and we're doing a passenger service whilst we talk about the roadmap. So there's the 375 coming in. Exciting times. So what we're going to do is we are going to get on board, take a seat, as usual, in first class, of course, and we will have a look at the roadmap. So I've got the roadmap here below. I've got my laptop here just underneath the camera so we can have a look at it together. I've not looked yet, so I'm about to click on it. Well, I've got it clicked so it's loaded, because there have been some times where the roadmap hasn't loaded properly because so many people are going on it. So we'll find out. All I can see so far is the Train Sim World 2 roadmap picture is of the M7 from the Long Island Railroad. Interesting stuff going on there. Now what we're going to do, we've taken a seat, so let's get started and look at the roadmap. So changes are coming to the roadmap. Find out more in this latest update. Over the past month we have taken the opportunity to look at what has worked and what hasn't with the Train Sim World 2 roadmap. Its primary purpose is to help give players insight into what the various teams at Dovetail Games are working on. The benefit in providing this insight is that it gives answers to many players' questions that come up, whilst also giving as clear an indication of what's not being worked on. The often used phrase, "if it's not on the roadmap, we're not working on it," may be a little frustrating to experience, but it also leaves no room for ambiguity. Clearly listing what is and isn't being developed allows us to have more speculative discussions about our future aims without interfering that they're in active development. So this approach covers upcoming core feature changes, new routes and locos, improvements to add-ons they've already released, and bug fixes. Fundamentally, it's everything a player wants to know except the expected release dates. For the past 2 months, however, this approach has become increasingly unreliable, and the last roadmap update was more inaccurate than we're comfortable with in regard to what was scheduled for the next release. The list of items we were expecting in that list, and there is actually a link that you can read it for yourself, was significantly different to the update that was released. The roadmap itself was accurate with regard to what was in development, but the listing of the different stages each item should have been in was wrong. To avoid this happening again, we've taken the decision to design Roadmap 2.0. Oh yeah. Which possibly sounds a little too grand. Anyway, this new version of the roadmap will cover the routes and add-ons that are currently in development, the work of the preservation team, and major projects underway in the simulation. Individual fixes and improvements will only be listed when they are included within a patch. We'll discuss this in more depth at the live stream tonight. So since we're reworking the roadmap, we won't provide the full list today. Everything that was on the list last time is still present, but we want to make doubly certain that we're presenting an accurate, reliable picture. We don't want to leave you with nothing new. However, so to illustrate the approach we'll be taking here is around half the list of items the preservation crew are tackling for the Long Island Railroad. Okay, so this is why. So there are improvements to Belmont railing textures, add platform climb-up functionality, New York Penn rework underground vehicle audio, improving traffic spawns locations, improving passenger spawn, improving passenger stand locations within vehicles, passenger pathing in Hempstead, add passenger information systems to all stations on the route. A fix, there are no track joint sounds, hillside maintenance complex, so a lot of fixes in there as well. Volume of the horn decreases when the cab window is open on the M7, so a lot of fixes in there. I'm not going to go into these just because there are a lot in there, but you can read it yourself. Remember, link down below to this this thing on here, roadmap. I don't know why it just totally went for me there. Everything on this list runs through the process of being investigated, entered development, testing and release. We start by attempting to reproduce and identify the cause of a reported problem. If this is achieved, is there a fix that can be applied? If so, the fix or improvement is then developed before being tested. The test does not only check that the problem has been solved, but that it doesn't cause a problem elsewhere. Assuming there is no issue, then we'll schedule the fix for inclusion in a patch. To ensure that our patch sizes don't become massive, they aim to target a few routes at a time since any change, no matter how small, to a route requires a multi-gigabyte file download. Then that's it multiplied by each route included in a patch. So under future roadmap updates, the list above, which is not everything under investigation by the preserve crew on Long Island Railroad, would be grouped where appropriate. For example, we might list improvement update to passenger spawning and behaviour on the roadmap itself, then provide the granular details when changes are released. We'll also include larger improvement projects such as passenger information screens or platform access that have a larger impact overall. We're changing the level of detail in the roadmap in order to make it easier to read and remember. We're also reducing the number of items that are less certain, as we've always wanted to be accurate as much as possible, so we want to limit the items that have a lower level of guarantee about them. Doesn't mean the work isn't taking place, rather that we'd sooner talk about granular fixes when we have greater confidence that they'll be completed. And that's it. That's all we've got on the roadmap today. Interesting. Okay, so they've given us a load of fixes and improvements that they were working on with Long Island Railroad, but they've not put anything else on. So what I may do is I may click on the read it yourself link. Anyway, it is in the description below. So the 26th of January, which was the 2 weeks ago roadmap, we saw that there are a few things in the upcoming, which was the 465 and the expansion of rapid transit train formation. So we've not seen what's going on there. Development is complete, currently in testing and refinement. So there is nothing new potentially that's going to be coming out over these next 2 weeks, unless there are updates for Long Island Railroad that will be coming out for that. Now, I don't know. You let me know what you think. I think it's good that they are working on that, because there were a lot of things in there that weren't fixed that we thought were going to be fixed. So that was kind of a bit of a weird thing that we had that on the roadmap before, especially thinking, oh, it's going to have this, oh, it's going to have that, and then the patch comes out and it's like, well, no, you're not getting that, you're not getting that. Oh yeah, 377 livery editor doesn't work. So there are a few issues that are going on with that. So, but I'm liking that the communication is very open. I think that's something that I've worked very hard on. I think Sam has kind of got a real good hand on that to make sure that they are communicating with us all. Because why would we want to see a system, you know, a game here where we're having nothing, no updates, nothing at all, and bugs that aren't being fixed or new features that we're not aware of? It's not like we're playing a game such as, you know, FIFA or anything like that, where it's very same, you know, throughout the year. Dovetail Games with the Train Sim World 2 is coming out with new routes all the time and new updates. You know, think since Train Sim World 2 we've had LGV, we've had Isle of Wight from Rivet Games, we've had Southeastern High Speed, we've had Hubstrucker Munich to Augsburg. We have so many new routes and new locos. It's good to know that what they're working on instead of it just coming up, because these updates aren't once a year. They're coming out constantly. It's not like FIFA, where it's like FIFA 20, 21, 22, 23. That gets boring, because I do play FIFA, so I'm not saying that way, but there are no major updates to it. You know, like, oh, there's a brand new team that's come out, you know, that sort of thing. This is more of these new routes are coming out. It's always evolving, always changing and updating. So I think it's good that they've stepped away from it for a second and figured that out. I think they should have done that a couple of months ago rather than right now, because we've got a lot of things that are going on at the moment. We know that Southeastern High Speed had a big issue, and that's probably what's caused this rethink. With the amount of work that they probably had to put into that, probably delayed everything else. You know, think of what we had with the first preview compared to the second preview of Southeastern High Speed. There was a big difference. Yes, I will admit there is still a lot more to work on, but they've been able to get that out and probably put all their team effort into putting those extra things in there, trying to fix the audio, giving us more services, and that's what we want. That's what we want from DTG. If we're going to be paying 25 quid or whatever it ends up being, you know, for our routes and our locos, we want to ensure that they're going to work. 25 quid, yeah, one off, fine. I don't mind that for one game, 25 quid, but when it's £25 for each route, that starts going up. If there were 4 routes a year, You know, that's 100 quid a month, 100 quid a month, 100 quid a year. That can be quite a lot for some people. So I think ensuring that the routes work, and you know, we are getting the best possible quality and experience, then that 25 quid carrying on needs to be, you know, the work in the background needs to happen with that. Now, as I've said before, I am not Dovetail Games. I'm looking at it independently on my own. I really do enjoy Train Sim World 2, of course, like you all do. You watch my videos. I enjoy recording them as well. I didn't expect not to receive any news about anything upcoming. You know, I was expecting maybe the Class 465 coming into, you know, next release in the next week or so, because that would have been really good. But as I said, I think things have been bumped big time because of Southeastern High Speed. But if they could kind of do that for previous routes, you know, Hubstrucker, Munich to Augsburg, we've still not got a fix for that yet. Just give us the layers that we can manually add like we did before for a couple of days. Because there are ones, I know, I'm not saying it's just for me, but there are ones that are on the next gen where the train route can cope. Yes, it doesn't cope on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, but it definitely works with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S and X. Oh, I can see my laptop there. I'm pulling it down now. So yeah, that's kind of the way that I view it, is they should allow us to put those features on, even though it may struggle with the frame rate, which isn't ideal. It's kind of a, you don't have to have it, but if you want the layers, you can, and we'll add them on for you. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. They had that feature before, and then they removed it. They did a hot fix, didn't they? Which was a little annoying, but what can you do? But yeah, so with the Long Island Railroad, there are a lot of fixes in there, which is really weird, because it's something that the Long Island Railroad is quite an old route. It's still a couple of years old, and it's weird how they're only just getting onto them. Now, I think Train Sim World 2 did break some of those. You know, what was it? I think it's Hempstead. One of the stations, you can't access it on Scenario Planner. I would love to have done the little route from there to Jamaica. That would have been amazing, but we don't get that. Because it's just not on there. Maybe that's something that they're improving on. But yeah, just the simple things where I think they need to listen to what the game player, the customer, is wanting. And I think that's what they're doing. That's why they're giving us more stations and more routes that we can have, more track routes to go through with Scenario Planner. You know, we don't just want Paddington Platform 1, 2, 5, 11 and 12 and 14. That's not many when there are 14 platforms where we potentially want things coming in and out constantly. That's kind of what we want to see. So yeah, that's the way I view it. It is something that I am rambling on now, aren't I? But I am looking forward to seeing what they can do with the communication on that. There's a nice 375. I didn't mention it, but earlier when I moved to the left, it was like the same model as the Nestle factory. But what we'll do is we'll see the submarine here as we come into this station here. But yeah, into Rochester, sorry. Now, I'm rambling on a little bit because, you know, I've got this video where I get off the train, and I thought, you know what, I'll do that. If you want to skip ahead, skip ahead. But yeah, I am enjoying the communication that we are getting, seeing what the new train lines are, instead of just going, bam, there is East Coastway for you. It's, no, we're working on Southeastern High Speed. No, we're working on the 465 and the 313, and we're working on doing this for you and that for you. It's really nice to be able to see that. And I think that's what this sort of game requires, instead of just finding out, bam. It's like, right, I know what routes I'm coming up that are coming up. I know that I want to get Southeastern High Speed, so I'll save up for that, but maybe not XYZ, because I don't really like freight, or I don't like American lines or anything like that. But we get a choice, so we know what's coming up. Or we don't think, oh, I really want that, but then find out the most important route of your lives, you know, the ones that you live near. You're like, I so need that, and you find out it's come out 2 weeks later, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have got that. Now, I know it's all about money and about making money, so that's what Dovetail Games want to do. They want to ensure that the business continues running, and that's why they're going to be bringing out these routes and using third party with Rivet. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing what the Eraser Line is going to do. Preferably, I would have preferred to have had a modern train instead of the old-fashioned train. It's like Rivet are going for the 1938 tube stop for Isle of Wight. They're going for the old train for a Rosa Line. Just give us some modern trains, yeah? Anyway, but they may think that's something that Dovetail Games do. Anyway, point here is just the communication is good. I want to see more from that, and they are working on it. But I just love the ability of knowing what's coming out with all those features there anyway. But that's me coming to the end of that. There is my 375 leaving. But thank you so much for watching. If you have watched all the way through, give us a thumbs up. Maybe put a comment to say watched in full, just so I know. But subscribe and ring the notification bell down below. Social media links are in the description as well. But we will see you on the next video. This is Mega Sim out of here. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.